All right, guys, we are back, and this time we have our man Corson, with his top 8 finish using Token Rush, Rush. So Corson, explain the ins and outs of your decks. Let's tell everyone what you want to do, and also feel free to explain your matchups. So take it away.
All right. First things first. Let's just get this out of here. I didn't play it during the event. Pulled that the day after the event. Thank you. Anyway, I feel obliged to kind of say this before the event, even before the even started. No, I did not follow the meme. I was going to play this before the event, and then I saw what happened. So don't blame me for it.
You were there before it began.
Yeah, blame the other 5. 5, yes. Blame the other 5 people. It wasn't me.
All right, guys, we have a disclaimer already. He was not part of the problem.
I mean, I'm part of the problem, just not on purpose. Anyway, onto the profile here. 4 copies, Dandelion Musketeer, America. It's your main grade 1 ride. Soul Blast 1, get a token. Call it from the hand, get a token. Call it from the deck, get a token. She gets you tokens. That's what you need her for. Second grade 2, second grade 1. 3 copies. Lily the Valiant Musketeer, Rebecca. She's in there kind of for the early game rush a little bit. I was debating, there is an option in this deck. You can cut her for 3 Lilga, the Bloom PG, and then call them from the deck on your first stride, bounce them to hand, depending on what you're playing against. I kind of felt there was going to be a lot of rush in this event, and there was. I'll talk about that when I do my matchups later. So really, this was a bit better than having PGs, having the early game rush to be able to do a combo where you'll have a Miracle on board, get your token, call this, buff the token, swing, swing. Thank you, Solemn Vanguard, for that one. That was a beautiful combo. You shouldn't have taught me it. Thank you, YouTube.
So pretty much kill or be killed.
Pretty much, it was a kill or be killed day the entire day. Your next grade 1, 3 copies of Padmini. Stride Fodder, you're not running the Asha. Well, I'm not running the Asha in this. I saw a few builds there that day that were running Asha. Some near the top tables where they're running some of the Bloom engine. I wasn't today. I just kind of wanted the consistency of always seeing tokens and token-related options. All right, and then your final grade 1 is going to be Fruit Basket's Elf. She came in very, very clutch in certain parts of the day. You're running low on tokens on the board, kind of need something. Put them on the board early as long as they survive. You're not playing against something with Retire. They'll be there when you go into your first stride. Or once you're in your first stride, you'll pop them. They'll gain the +5 from her effect. Very, very nice. So moving on to the grade 2s, of course, you're running 4 copies of Sylvia. On place, get a token. Again, place it on Vanguard, get a token. Place it on Rearguard, get a token. Call from the deck, get a token. Makes a 15k lane by yourself for the early game rush. Use her for replacing lanes for the Katrina combos down the road. You have a lot of options with her.
And it's free!
And it's free! And these were basically free based on how much they are now.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Your next grade 3 copies of Immersol. He's more in here for the early game combos. You know, sitting at grade 2, your opponent's sitting at grade 2, you might need some draws. You run enough copies though, so if you damage check some of the cards we see later in the combo, you can call this instead. That way you have a decent attack lane and you get draw out of it. I did use this round 1. I'll explain that a bit more down the road, but it did come in very handy. Your next grade 2, your next grade 2s, your last 2 grade 2s, kind of work in tandem here. There's 3 copies of Mane of Gladius and 3 copies of Tyvant. So the main combo with the deck is when you're going to Katrina, you have a board full of tokens, swing with your tokens, and then when you use Katrina's skill, you want to make sure that you get one of each of these. And then you can attack with the Kaivant, and then when you attack with Gladiolus, she'll call a copy of Kaivant from the deck. It gets you another attack, especially putting this on a Force 2 marker, which is what I did all day. You're able to get so much pressure out of the Kaivant swings. 25 crit, 25 crit, just keeps going in. Very, very strong.
Everybody has a crit.
Oh, everyone has a crit. Going on to the grade 3s. 4 Maiden of Trailing Rose. I mean, she's the best grade 3 you can run in this deck. On place on Vanguard, you get 2 tokens. Placed on Rearguard, you get 1. It's everything you want. You end up riding to grade 3 first. You don't get the stride. You can buff the tokens, get a little pressure in. That was pretty useful sometimes. Not all the time, though. You really don't want to give up first stride in this deck, but it's one of the few decks, especially in the current format, depending on what you're playing against, that could possibly get away with it. You're not really running PGs, so if it's a very rush-heavy format like we had at that event, where there really wasn't a lot of Dimension Police or Dark Irregular at the top tables, there was a lot of Neo Nectar, a lot of gold. You can kind of deal with it. You have enough triggers in hand, you might be able to survive a rush against the mirror match. Against golds, it's kind of just like how many 15Ks do I have in hand to deal with this. So, it did help. And then your 3 copies of Tomato. He's kind of just there to be a force marker if you need him. Sometimes you'll call him out from hand and you'll draw a card off of him. You really don't want to, though, just mainly because of losing tokens for Katrina. I was debating running some copies of some other grade 3s in here, just kind of messing around. This is where you pretty much put the Asha in if you felt like it, have the combos with her. But I felt Tomato was the better one, just because getting that Force 2 marker so early in the game is just so much better than Asha's recyclability options. And then going on to the triggers, it's 12 crit. What did you expect?
All YOLO.
You always need. It's all YOLO. You just kind of need to see the crits. If there was a fourth 10K crit, I might have actually ran 16 crits. But G Guardians are just too useful. But having the option to G Guard's good. So I mean, you might if you really want to try to go YOLO, but I don't think in this format anymore it's worth trying to go 16 crit like the old Saint Guard days.
Especially since now, like, with the format like being rush heavy and also the amount of XL decks running around, though, like having PGs do not prove as much use as they
Oh, not at all. I saw so many people die because they added PGs to their hand. It got kind of crazy when I was looking at it. So moving on to the G zone here. To the one card I actually used, to the 2 cards I actually used all day. 3 copies of Katrina. You stride it, call a bunch of tokens, swing with the tokens, call things from the deck, get more tokens. Fun. Getting multi-attack in this deck is great. Not paying counterblast for it is even better.
Must be nice.
It's really nice not getting stuck, getting stuck without counterblast. She gives you a lot of options in that case, where you can have a counterblastless combo. Where I ended up playing against a gold deck, and that actually ended up happening. I actually ended up pulling 2 Kaivans from the deck. And just because I didn't have any counterblast and just had it big enough, and it was just enough to deal with it. Otherwise, I'll tell you later some of the other stuff I've done with her. And then 1 Sea Breeze.
We still keep the Sea Breeze.
I used it once. I won that game pretty well because it was at grade 2. I had a Force 2 marker. I had a Gladiolus in hand. Things got nasty. Onto cards I didn't really use throughout the day, but they're just because your G zone is just so full, just so empty really. You have a lot of options in the deck for outs and crazy things. If you're running the Bloom build, you're not as open to options, but in this version you are. So my grade 4 of choice to flip for Katrina was Asha. The main reason for that was I was kind of seeing maybe, depending on how matchups ended up or what ended up happening, you could use your one of Glorious Bloom Asha. Kind of mess around with that option. Maybe copy yourself, call a Trailing Rose from the deck, make that a lane, this will gain a crit, just kind of messing around with options, seeing what I had. There really isn't much of a purpose to that, just kind of having something to flip and just having a use for the things you're flipping later. I saw some people using the Musketeer strides, and that's probably a better choice for consistency, but it really depends how you're feeling and how many more Musketeers you might be using. This is my secret spicy tech that actually never ended up happening, being Jingle Flower Dragon, because I had the space. My thought process was simple. If I was stuck under something or some reason let's say I was out of gas, I really didn't have anything left in the deck somehow in some weird way, I ran out of Katrinas, or I ran out of things to call from the deck with Katrina, and I had a board just full of tokens that really didn't do anything. I could stride into this, choose the token. My board gains 10k like I'm under Katrina anyway, and you can kind of just push for damage. It didn't really come up. I just kind of put it in there because I had the space. I was trying to figure out what to do with the spots. Progenitor Dragon, Xerath Dragon. I didn't use either throughout the day. I thought about using this at one point just to get the free stride, but losing the pressure from Katrina is really, really hard for this deck to handle. You kind of just lose so much tempo when you don't stride Katrina. Same thing with Zoa. Sure, there are situations, especially when you look at the mirror match. If you can get enough face-up G units, this could help you win the mirror match, especially because neither of you are running PGs. So you could actually kind of just cheese a mirror match that way, but it doesn't really come up that often, if ever really. Onto the G Guardians. 2 Anteros. If you have a full board, gain a bunch of shield. If you have an empty board, gain a bunch of shield.
It's a big
Simple
shield.
as that. Big shield boy. He is perfectly fair and balanced. Do not hit him, please. No, he doesn't really. He's just big shield. It's not as bad as Bermuda's.
Yep.
Bermuda's was free. He at least cost a Soul Blast.
And recyclable.
And recyclable, yes. 2 copies. Flower Princess and Cherry. I really only went into her once, and that was really just to flip more cards face up to get a stronger Katrina turn. Her ability doesn't really come up that often anymore. The reason, and I'll show you my last one, would be Rain Breath. The reason I was running these was I was still kind of afraid of Nubatama, just in case something may have happened, because like this was the first event with the Jamia Congo restriction. So I didn't really know what was going to happen with Nubatama. I saw some people saying use Jamia Congo and don't use Rene. Some people said don't use Rene, don't use Jamia Congo. Looking at the way that most people played the deck at the event, they went with the former than the latter. Jamia Congo is just really, really strong. I did play against one person who was playing that deck. It's pretty scary sometimes. But you just really didn't need this many copies, because really Reen was not there at all on the event. So what I would say then is
a contingency.
Yeah, it's a contingency plan. But I would say replace one of these 2, keep one of these, replace one of these 2. And this is what I would do if I had a chance to go back and change it. With the G Guardian, that is just a vanilla 15k G Guardian, but then when it goes face up in the G zone, you take 2 normal units from your drop zone, put them back on the bottom of your deck. So what you would do with that is if you're running out of combo pieces and you want to go into a good combo next turn, you put 2 Kaivants back when you G Guard with it, and then you have basically full attack combo next turn. Your opponent may not be expecting that because they only really expect one really strong push off of you, and then after that you're kind of meh. So that would be what I would do. As for the matchups, rounds 1 through 3 or 4 were Gold Paladin. I won all of them because they tried to high roll, couldn't finish me, and then I got first stride and killed them. I think one of them got Spear X off. Still didn't kill me. I went to Katrina. They didn't have a hand, and it kind of got nasty. After that, I played against this really interesting Freeze Ray Dragon deck. It was a Freeze Ray Schwarzschild build, and that was a really interesting deck that you had to like play your combos around. It really didn't cause much of an issue for me for the actual event as a whole, but just kind of having to change your train of thought on your combo, just thinking if I call this and this hits, then this gets locked and you lose the combo. But what really helped that matchup is tokens can't get locked. If they do lock, it does get locked, but then they actually poof away and leaves the circle open.
Yeah.
So they really didn't get a chance to combo off on me that much, because when they tried to use a glue ball, they used the new glue ball and they locked my board, but then it all disappeared, and then I had no locked cards on the field, so they didn't get anything out of it, which was really, really useful. Now just keep striding Katrina and filling the whole board with tokens again, so that was really nice.
For those who don't know about the rulings of tokens, though, whether they are locked, bounce, or like attacked like an aim form, they disappear from the board. They do not stay on there.
Yeah, they disappear. Then I fought some more Gold Paladins. Really, pretty much the entire day was almost all Gold Paladin. It was kind of crazy. I was just kind of facing against all the Gold Paladin decks. My one loss before top 8 was against Golds in round 6. He had just a really good hand. He was able to, he didn't kill me the first time he strode. But he put me in such a big disadvantage that there was really no way that I could come back. Like, he had a bunch of G guards, a bunch of PGs, and then he just had 5 Excel markers on board, and he ultimated me, and I just kind of can't deal with that. Round 9 was an interesting one. I fought up against Kaguro. That was an interesting little matchup there. He basically misplayed, so I kind of won there, where he had the second grade 3 ride. He didn't stride, though. He just stayed on OG Overlord for the pressure. I thought he was kind of just trying to bait me, because he did use Force 2 on the Overlord, so I was like, I see what he's trying to do. Kind of just G-guard. I forget if I G-guarded or just hard blocked it. Just kind of say, no, I don't want that to happen. Come to find out later that he completely thought I was on grade 2, so he decided he would have strode if he wanted to. His hand was full of 3s. So the second I strode, his hand just kind of disappeared, and that was the end of that game.
All right. Anything else? Any shout outs or like anything else you want to add?
Yeah, a couple shout outs, not really anything crazy. Shout out to Team Absolution Vanguard for being there, seeing everybody there. Nice meeting you guys, seeing you guys playing on Saturday and Sunday.
Hope you guys are watching this, man.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Solemn Vanguard for me being part of the problem. Yes, this deck is Helmet. I know, I'm sorry.
Hey, got you your top.
I mean, it got me my top, so that was nice.
Can't complain.
Really, shout out to everyone at the event for being so nice and just kind of, a lot of handshaking, a lot of everyone being good. Nothing really too crazy happening at the event from what I was experiencing, so really nice for everyone being there. That should be it again.
All right, thank you, Corson, for your time and showing us the ins and outs of your decks. If you guys want to see more content, like, be sure to hit our subscribe button and also like this video, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.